Hi, I'm Auntie Lynn, and welcome to Better College. I decided to start this YouTube channel because I've been in higher ed for over 25 years, and I really felt that students and families need more information regarding the college experience, so to speak. Getting into college, going to college, staying in college, and paying for college, which is near and dear to my heart because I've been in financial literacy and financial aid for quite a few years. So, I'm probably going to address things on this YouTube channel that people don't agree with, people might not like to hear. However, these opinions are based on my personal experience with thousands of students. So, let's take it from there. A little bit about me. I started in higher education when I was in college, actually. I participated as an admissions intern and a student advisor for incoming freshmen and a resident advisor. And from there, I continued with my career in higher education. I have worked in community colleges, private colleges, proprietary colleges, and public state universities. I have worked in registrar, student activities, academic affairs, student affairs, financial aid, financial literacy, and that's just to give you a background on who Auntie Lynn is, because you might want to know who you're speaking to. But again, this is based on my experience, and these are opinions I have accumulated over the years. You don't have to subscribe to them. You don't have to do what I tell you to do. These are just things that I have seen real students, real families, real parents deal with. And in order to make college better for students and families, I really wanted to bring attention to some of these issues, and hopefully it will help you. So, that's a little bit about me and my motivation. And now, for this first episode, this is based on some recent experiences I've had at my current employment with students who are coming from out of state. So, in the financial aid world, and I'll probably reiterate this in other videos coming up, in the financial aid world, there are different types of aid. Of course, there's your federal aid that comes from the FAFSA. There's your state aid that comes from the state you live in. There's institutional aid, which is aid that comes directly from the college or university you're attending. And then there is private scholarships. Now, you can also get scholarships through the college or university, but then there is the other category of private scholarships, meaning from an outside organization that is not affiliated with the federal, state, or institution. So these are all part of your financial aid package, hopefully. Now, I just want to state that if you don't need financial aid, if you are a student whose family either saved a ton of money, or you're a family that has the money to pay for your student to go to college, and you don't have to take any aid or scholarship whatsoever, good for you. But that's not most of us. Most of us are going to need some type of financial aid. We're going to need some kind of help because college is expensive. And that's a phrase I'm probably going to say 1,000,000 times during my whole YouTube channel experience here. College is expensive. We know this. But here's the catch. When we sit down with our student and we start talking about college, the first thing we talk about is, where do you want to go? Where is your dream? And the student is going to tell you at the kitchen table or at dinner or during that family conversation while in high school They're going to tell you about this fabulous dream college that they really want to go to. They want it so bad. And as parents, the first thing we want to do is say, yes, honey, we're going to make that happen. You want to go there? We're going to make it happen. Here's the problem. There are many students that they decide to go out of state. So you're living in one state and you pay taxes and you do your tax return in one state. Your permanent address is in one state. And your student wants to go to another state. So as we talked before a few minutes ago about financial aid, state aid could be part of your package. However, you need to stay in your state to get it. So if you're the kind of family that is relying on financial aid to pay for some of your college expenses, and your student goes out of state, you may be leaving money on the table. Literally. Just here it is, flying out the window. Many states, as a matter of fact, from what I've researched, most or all states in the United States offer some type of state grant. Now, you may realize a grant is what people call free money. That means you don't have to pay it back. So if your child sits at the table with you or has this discussion with you and they say, I want to go out of state, I want to go to this college and it's 2 states, it's across the country, you need to sit down with them and be realistic. Can we afford it? And are you potentially eligible for state aid? If you are eligible for any type of state aid and your child decides to go to another state, you're not getting that money. You're not having your state pay for your student to go somewhere else. That's how it works. So I have seen in my experience, sadly, so many students that they come from one state into the institution that I'm working at, and they are not from that state. They're not getting state aid from their state, and they are not eligible for state aid in the state where they're going because your family doesn't live there or pay taxes there. And because we want our children to have their dream, we will do whatever it takes so that they can have their dream. But, and this is another phrase that I'm going to say numerous times throughout this YouTube channel, your college dream might become a nightmare. And here's why. If you're going out of state and you don't get the state award from the state you live in, and you're definitely not going to get the award in the state you're going to, you have to pay. First off, you're paying a premium to go to another state, right? So the in-state students are paying one tuition and fee bill. You going into another state, you're paying a premium to go to that university. Now, some universities, maybe some private universities, they charge everyone the same thing. I'm not saying 100% of the universities on the planet do this. But the vast majority, if you are going from state to state, you're paying a premium. And sometimes that premium could be almost double what the in-state students are paying. So not only did you give up potential free money from your own state because you're not staying there, and you're not getting money from the state you're going to because you're not a resident there, you're also paying a huge premium to go out of state. And now you and your student are responsible for paying the tuition and fees. And it's a higher bill, and you're getting less financial aid. So some parents will do a Parent Plus loan. That is a loan where the parents take out the funds through the federal government. They apply, it's credit-based. They apply through studentaid.gov, and they see if they're eligible for the Plus loan, the Parent Plus loan for the student. The thing is now, the legislation that was put through last October, limits the amount of Parent Plus loan that you can take out for your student. So previously, you were able to take out almost as much as necessary for your student. Now, you are limited to only a certain amount every year, and there is a lifetime aggregate for each child. So over the course of 4 years, there is an absolute limit. And again, you can go to studentaid.gov and find out more information about the details of how this works. But the problem is that limit, from my experience and my calculations at my current employment, that limit is not going to cover your tuition and fees if you're an out-of-state student. So now you're not only not getting any state aid from your state, you're not getting any state aid from the state you're going to, and there is a limit to the amount of Parent Plus loan that you can take out for the student. That means the next thing would be a private loan. Now, some people are not concerned with private loans. Some people don't have any issue with private loans. But in my experience, a lot of parents and families that are working class or middle class, they don't want to have the private loans that they're responsible for because private loans have a different set of standards. The Parent Plus loan from the government, from the Department of Education, has certain standards that everyone has to follow, right? Whereas a private loan is completely different. It's almost like a mortgage where everything is dependent on your credit history, everything is dependent on your credit rating. So person A and person B can have different amounts available, can have different interest rates. So there's no set standard for private loans. And that's why a lot of parents that need to take out private loans, they're not too crazy about doing it. But if you're an out-of-state student, chances are, if your plus loan and your financial aid that you might receive does not cover your tuition fees and, of course, your room and board, you're going to have to think about private loans. So this is why, in this particular video, I wanted to address leaving money on the table. If your family really wants to be financially literate, and if your family really wants to consider their full financial life, financial background, what you can afford for your student, I have some options. Now, again, you don't have to agree, you don't have to like these options, but these are options that will hopefully allow you to afford the dream college, just not the route that you're thinking. So a lot of people will do their dream college and I have to go freshman year, I have to go. What if, as a family, you decided, okay, we can do your dream college, but let's try this. 2 years in community college, which you can, most people, not saying all, but most people can literally afford to pay for community college right out of pocket. If not, you can do very affordable payment plans and affordable monthly payments so that you can do the tuition for community college and the student graduates with an associate's degree and no debt. Then your student with no debt at the community college applies to their dream college. Now, of course, you need to make sure that they're academically capable. So you want to go to dream college, you want to go to Ivy League, well then you probably need to pull a 4.0 at community college. But it's totally possible. The other route would be stay in your state and go to a state college for 2 years. Then if you are eligible for that state grant aid, then you could get it because you're in state. The other issue is with in state, If you're not eligible for the state grant, again, this may be affordable for your family. You may not have to go into serious debt because you're an in-state student, you're paying in-state tuition and fees. Now, the same thing. Your student wants to go to Ivy League, your student wants to go to famous college, dream college. Now your student, if they have a decent GPA, because I'm going to talk about this in other videos, how important GPA is, which people are going to go crazy. But your student has a good GPA, they transfer to dream college, and now you only have 2 years that you have to cover for out-of-state dream college. You don't have to pay full 4 years. You don't have your family going into excessive debt. And you don't have your student going into excessive debt. This is really important because let's think for a minute. Your student is 18, 17 maybe. I started college at 17, so I know some people are 17. Your parent is in their 40s, maybe 50s, maybe 60s, depending on how late you had your children. It's the fact. Bottom line is, your student goes to college at that age, and you know how old you are, and how close are you to retirement. And if you are 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you're taking out Parent Plus loans, you're taking out private loans for your student, because if I didn't mention it before, private loans are co-signed. So the student cannot take out a private loan all by themselves. You have to co-sign as a parent with your student. Now, you're all on the hook for this money. And if your student starts out of state as a freshman, all those debts are going to pile up. Now, you may be thinking, it's okay, we'll be in debt about, 60, 70 grand. They'll graduate from their dream college and they're going to go and have a great career and make it all back. I'll talk about that in another video because I have tons of experience on that kind of thing. But again, think, is that the place you want to be? Is that where you want to be financially when you are 50 years old? When your kid gets out of college, hopefully they do get a great job, but they have that debt and so do you. Is that where you want to be? So, just some things to think about to make college better for you and your family, to make your financial lives better, and to make the experience better for everyone. Because your kid can go to college. Your kid can excel in college. But financially speaking, you need to make sure that it's a better experience for everybody. And that might mean readjusting your mentality of how you're going to pay for college. And if you are leaving any money on the table, that might be a big mistake. So, if your child wants to go out of state, these are things you probably should consider. If you can't afford to send your child out of state and you could just pay the money, like I said, that is awesome and good for you. But I know from experience, there are so many more families that does not apply to. And if it doesn't apply to you, really rethink the route your child can take to get to dream college. Or maybe not go to dream college at all. Maybe think of another dream. Maybe consider another college. And again, in future videos, I'm going to talk about college choices as well. But right now, really think about financially. If you are eligible for state grant aid in your state, seriously and deeply consider the route your child is going to take to get to their dream college. Because maybe community college or state college for the first 2 years might help you and your family do much better in the long run. And then your college will be better and it won't be a nightmare. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please come back. I'm really excited to start this channel, and I'm really excited to help as many people as I can make college better and more affordable. Have a great day.